First tonight on Our News Weekend, an unusual situation. We'll tell you how a ride from an unknown man takes a dangerous turn. Police now probing the early morning sexual assault. Plus, appoint the board. The Bahamas Contractors Association calling on the Prime Minister to establish the Contractors Licensing Board amid concerns over the foreign to Bahamian labor ratio for the new hospital. And later, taking care of your skin. Why a dermatologist says skincare is no longer a luxury and how our tropical climate can lead to harmful effects. Our News, the weekend edition, starts right now. Welcome to Our News, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Berthany McDermott. Police are investigating an alleged sexual assault that began with a ride early Sunday morning and ended in trauma. According to initial reports, shortly after 4 o'clock, a woman was on East Street when she accepted a ride from an unknown man. But instead of taking her to her intended destination, police say the man reportedly drove to a beach on East Bay Street. That's where he is believed to have sexually assaulted the woman against her will. 2 men in Grand Bahama are in custody following a nearly $9,000 drug and cash bust Saturday evening. Police say around 7 p.m. a tip led officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit to conduct a stop and search on a vehicle traveling along West Sunrise Highway. That search uncovered 4.2 pounds of suspected marijuana with an estimated street value of just over $4,600. Police say officers also seized $4,000 in cash, believed to be the proceeds of crime. Just this week, a 65-year-old man was found guilty of molesting his 11-year-old granddaughter, another sign of a disturbing rise in sexual crimes against children in the Bahamas. In a separate case, a man accused of sexually assaulting a 7-year-old girl was denied bail amid growing concerns over these crimes. Speaking at the Department of Social Services Family Week press conference, President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernando, sounding the alarm, calling recent cases deeply troubling. He stressed the urgent need for national action to protect vulnerable children.
We must come together. As long as good people do nothing, this crime and the social ills we have will continue. We have to correct it. We have to stand up. We have to work together. And today we're making that step by reaching out of our pulpits, partnering with social services, but all of our programs, if you notice, urban renewal, all of our programs are geared at reaching a generation and making a change. It might not come fast, but it will happen.
Bishop Fernando also addressing those who may believe the church has been silent when it comes to certain social ills.
We are the church. All of us are the church. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I don't always have to come to the mics to get things done. We have ways of going directly to the powers that be, as you saw today, and deal with matters. Now, when they are not dealt with, is when we use the press.
Carnival Cruise Line President Christine Duffy says her team is looking beyond the fun and fanfare of Celebration Key's official opening weekend. She says this stop in Grand Bahama represents a significant achievement for the company. While Saturday's arrival of the Carnival Vista brought thousands of visitors and a festive atmosphere, Duffy says the real story is the long-term impact the development will have on the island. The historic weekend welcomed VIPs like NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal, Carnival's chief fun officer, and featured family-friendly attractions like a 5-story sandcastle slide. And for Duffy, she says a highlight has been meeting some of the nearly 1,200 Bahamians now employed through the project.
Who have said this is giving them the ability to come home after Hurricane Dorian really devastated this island. So we're very proud of that. We're very proud with the partnership and collaboration that we've had from Carnival with government and the community. And this is only phase 1. So this will continue to grow. We're also investing in our island in Half Moon Cay. So I think that, as I say, game changer, an itinerary that enables us to have people call a Celebration Key as well as relax away at Half Moon. And
The phased development is moving forward with 2 more berths currently under construction and expected to open in 2026, reinforcing Carnival's long-term commitment to Grand Bahama. Duffy also explained that to experience Celebration Key firsthand, Grand Bahama residents will need to book a Carnival cruise. While the destination mainly serves Carnival cruisers, she says the positive impact will extend beyond the port. Duffy also telling Our News why Celebration Key was the final stop on this voyage.
It takes a lot of time to get down to the Southern Caribbean. On an 8-day cruise, we're able to get to the Southern Caribbean, give people the experience of those islands, and then make this the final stop on the way home. We saved the best for last because obviously we've started working on this many years ago, and then when the pandemic happened, right, everything stopped. And so the restart, coming back stronger, better than ever, and I think people really appreciate the value and fun that you have on a cruise, and a Carnival cruise, to be able to bring people here. I think you'll all witness today the smiles, the happiness from the youngest guests to the oldest guests. Of course, we had our Chief Fun Officer here, Mr. Shaq O'Neill, and he always makes everybody smile.
The Bahamas Contractors Association is once again calling for the appointment of the Construction Contractors Board, something Association President Leonard Sands says is long overdue. The board was made possible by legislation passed back in 2016 when Prime Minister Philip Davis served as Minister of Works. The law was designed to better manage the construction industry and require all contractors, including foreigners, to be licensed to work in the Bahamas. But Sands says without the board in place, none of that can happen.
China Construction would have to have a license issued by the board to engage in construction. Any contractor in the country would have to have a license. As it stands, no contractor in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has a license to conduct construction business in this country since 2016. I want to say that again. No contractor in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas has a license issued by the Construction Contractors Board that was established in 2016 by the Act to issue a license. So again, this project will be built illegally unless they get a license from the board, which has not been yet appointed.
Sands is urging the Prime Minister to act and says he should remember why the legislation was passed in the first place.
I continue to say that on the record because I want Mr. Davis to please remember the importance of why he brought that piece of legislation to the floor, and until the board is appointed, that legislation does not take the full effect that it was intended.
The Ministry of Labor and Public Service is pushing back against what it calls confusion over recent salary increases for public servants. This comes after the Bahamas Public Services Union raised concerns about who's actually benefiting and who may be left behind. Delvardo Emanuel has that story.
Minister of Labor and the Public Service, Pia Gloverole, is defending the government's handling of recent salary increases for civil servants, saying there was consultation and that the facts are being misrepresented. This comes after Prime Minister Philip Davis pledged pay hikes and a $112 million increase to government's wage bill in the new fiscal period. But while the increase are expected to bring long-awaited relief to thousands, Bahamas Public Service Union President Kimsey Ferguson isn't convinced, raising concerns about a lack of transparency. Ferguson recently told the Tribune it was ludicrous that the union had no seat at the table, adding that without early involvement, it's difficult to advocate for members who may be negatively impacted. But the minister says that's simply not the case.
I don't know where there would have been confusion because, as usual, there is a meeting to ensure that we are apprising the unions. I've advised that on the 22nd of May, the financial secretary, along with his team, and the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Public Service did have a meeting with the BPSU president and his legal representative where questions would have been answered, the plan would have been rolled out. If there was any subsequent confusion, Mr. Ferguson, of course, knows that he can always come to the ministry or the financial secretary.
In a statement released Tuesday, the ministry made it clear the salary adjustments apply to core public servants and not quasi-government agencies or state-owned corporations.
We did note that this public service exercises for public servants. Where there is a confusion of public servants versus quasi-government, I'm not sure, but we know that there are certain state-owned operations, certain authorities, corporations that are run by boards. And as a result, we engage industrial agreements to improve their conditions. Where there are anomalies of a few public servants that are placed in those areas, they are that anomalies and they will be addressed as such.
Gloverall insists there was consultation, but also made it clear that unions don't co-manage salary deductions.
We are in a position where we consult with the unions, where we communicate with the unions. It does not say that the union has co-management. It's important that we remain in good social dialogue and that we inform the unions of what's happening. We get their feedback, which has been happening and continues to happen.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
Thanks, Delvado. When our news weekend comes back from the break, our new grads checking all of the employment boxes. A human resources executive shares the traits your next employer may be looking for besides the degree. And a Gen Z trailblazer is sworn in as a cultural ambassador. We'll show you how DJ Overdose is being honored at home for making waves around the world. When our news weekend returns.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Setamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
They're blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful
You've studied, sacrificed, and now you've got the degree to prove it. But the moment that graduation high fades, reality kicks in. Daniel Miller spoke with a local senior HR executive who tells us that for many recent grads, the reality comes in the form of a job market that isn't as welcoming as they expected.
For many new degree holders, reality hits fast. A diploma isn't always a passport to a good job or a good paycheck.
You do have candidates exiting college that are wanting more, and so they are requiring a high level of pay.
The latest data shows nearly 8,000 young people aged 15 to 24 are unemployed, pushing the youth unemployment rate up to 19% in the second quarter of 2024. In fact, according to the National Statistical Institute's preliminary results labor force survey for the second quarter of 2024, 12% of unemployed persons in the country have university degrees, and 28% only completed secondary school. And while degree holders push for better compensation, Human Resource Executive Nikishna Sutherland says many employers are still asking, can you do the job? And will you fit in with our team?
Some don't understand that even with a degree, you still need a certain level of experience. And that is what an employer finds attractive as compared to someone that has limited qualifications or experiences, and then you're requiring more money.
And even when qualifications are there, Sutherland says employers are just as focused on a candidate's character, making sure new hires aren't just a good fit on paper, but also in the workplace long term. That recent labor force survey also reveals a deeper concern, as more than 12,000 Bahamians are considered discouraged workers, meaning they're no longer even trying to find jobs.
It requires basically getting down to the nitty-gritty and seeing, even in terms of a person's personality, to see if that's someone that can really fit into the current corporate culture.
So what should grads do? That's where soft skills like communication, adaptability, and teamwork come in. Experts say short-term internships or voluntary work can give you a competitive edge when it's time to talk offers or negotiate pay. Even though your degree is a great start, it's not the final destination, especially for aspiring high earners. Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Thanks, Danielle. Well, he's taken Bahamian artistry around the world, and now he's being officially recognized here at home. Jasper Thomas, better known as Overdose, started DJing at just 11 years old. Since then, he's opened for international stars like Wale, Burna Boy, and Vybz Kartel, and built a name for himself across genres. On Wednesday, his journey hit a new high, being named the Bahamian Cultural Ambassador by both the Prime Minister and the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture. Here's how he reacted.
I feel like this is the most I ever used the word surreal, but it's honestly, the truth of trying to describe how I feel. I think it hit me a little bit last night, but it ain't fully hit me yet because I've just been embracing like all the love and support from everybody. And I don't consider it just a win for myself. I think I consider it a win for the generation that I represent, being especially in an unconventional field. So for me, I just want like it to be a representation of what us as in the younger generation, we stand for, what we believe in.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, he relaunched Overdose Radio in partnership with Alive, connecting fans from all walks of life during lockdowns. He says a strategic move overseas helped him grow without losing touch with his roots.
I feel like I live two places at once. You know what I mean? If I'm being completely honest, I utilize another location, of course, to travel, to be more accessible when it comes to traveling. And I'm always here. Just a lot of people just don't know. I just keep under the radar because sometimes I just use that as like a vacation. My home is my vacation, you know what I mean? Away from all the traveling and everything. So I just think it was a major move for me to be able to have two different locations where I could be able to access certain places and different opportunities that I needed to at the time. And it worked well, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for that for sure.
Still to come in Our News Weekend, we revisit another Goodwill Games practice as Team Bahamas prepares to take a third consecutive win. But first,
one of the best to ever do it makes a return to the track, and we catch up with some more baseball action. Our Sports Weekend is up next.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that running nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Cetamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Them blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful
Welcome to Our Sports Weekend. I'm Tage Adderley. Stephen Gardner has earned himself a reputation of being one of the best 400-meter runners in the world, but the last few years have seen him fight off one injury after another. He made his return to the track this weekend. The quarter-miler ran in the 400 meters at the PVA High Performance Meet in Landover, Maryland this weekend, winning his signature event in a time of 45.68 seconds. Jared Gentles and Malcolm Brown came second and third, respectively. Gardner was away off his personal record of 43.48 seconds, but is coming off a foot injury and a tendon injury in his right leg and thigh that rendered him unable to compete for his second consecutive Olympic gold medal last year. Now, congratulations to Speedy Stevie. It's great to see him back on the track. Hopefully, this is just the beginning of his comeback. Now we're back to the diamond, where Bahamians got after it on Saturday night. Jazz Chisholm and his New York Yankees got the 12-9 win over the Atlanta Braves last night. The second baseman from New Providence went 1 for 5 with a single and a run. He also got into a heated exchange with Braves coach Eddie Perez. Jazz's contribution was instrumental in sparking the rally that would get the Yankees back in the game when they were down 7-2. His hit came with the bases loaded to drive in Cody Bellinger. He would also score in the same inning to bring the Yanks within 1 run. Anthony Volpe hit a solo home run in the 8th to tie the game, and Trent Grisham hit a 3-run home run in the ninth to put the Yankees up and give them the win. Anton Richardson and the Mets lost to the Cincinnati Reds 5-2. Brett Beatty hit a solo home run, but besides that, the Mets were held in check by Philly's bullpen, which didn't allow a run after starter Nick Martinez gave up 2 in his 5-inning outing. And down in the minors, Texas Rangers prospect Sebastian Walcott had himself a night, going 3 for 4 with 2 RBI. And he also stole his 20th base of the season for good measure, as his AA Frisco Rough Riders rode on the Corpus Christi Hucks 3-0. He was responsible for all of his team's offense. One of his runs and both of his RBI came on a 2-run home run in the fourth, and he scored another one as well. Anton and the Mets wrapped up earlier today, but Jazz and the Yankees are just starting right now, so check that out if you can. Well, that's a wrap for sports on this Sunday evening. For our sports weekend, I'm Tage Adderley. We'll do this again next week.
Thanks, Tage. Team Bahamas will head to the Goodwill Games in Barbados next month, and practices have begun as they look to take home their 3rd consecutive title. The swim champs won last year's game in St. Lucia and the year before in Jamaica. Head coach Dwayne Davis Jr. telling our Sasha Lightbourne that the team looks great and he believes they're almost guaranteed the three-peat. Weeks before they head to Jamaica, the team's captains were also named. They are Madison Julian, Trinity George, Michael Fox, and Jahan Chatelani Pickstock.
Honestly feels great. It's really an honor. I'm very excited that the coaches thought that I was suitable to be a team captain, and I'm very excited to help and lead this team to victory.
This is my first time being a captain, team captain, so I'm really excited to be named as a leader.
They also say they're ready to lead the team to victory.
I'm very proud to be captain, to represent my country in this big meet. You gotta make sure the little ones are in line, make sure everybody's ready. So yeah, I'm really happy to be captain.
It was really good actually. It made me feel very proud to represent the Bahamas in this international meet. And team captain comes with a lot of responsibilities, and I feel like I'm ready to handle them.
When our news weekend comes back from the break, partly cloudy skies for now, but that's expected to change this week. We'll tell you what to expect, and we'll share some tips from a pro on how to take care of your skin, especially under the summer heat. Stay with us.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that running nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Cetamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
They're blue for me and you, and I say to myself, what a wonderful
Welcome back to Our News Weekend. Fair skies outside the Our News studios, but that's expected to change in the coming days. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us with this week's forecast. Ian.
Thanks, Berthany, and good evening, Bahamas. Wind down Sunday. Welcome to your forecast. Currently outside our studio, still warm, 86 fair skies. Feels like 91. Winds are from the east-northeast at 9 miles per hour. Across the northwest Bahamas, Freeport, 85. Continuing in Marsh Harbor, Governor's Harbor, 86s in Alistown, Nicholstown, Great Harbor Key, and in the capital. Central Bahamas, 86s in Kemps Bay, 85s in Black Point, Arthurstown, and 84s in Georgetown, Deadman's Key, Port Nelson, and in Coburn Town, San Salvador. Southeast Bahamas, 84s continuing in Duncantown and Delectable Bay, 85s in Colonel Hill, Abrahams Bay, and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos, 86, the usual hotspot, Matthewtown and Agua. Satellite and radar imagery at this time, we have a broad area of high pressure at the surface. At the mid to upper levels, we have the spin. That's anti-clockwise rotation, and that is a mid to upper level low that will influence our weather about beginning to the mid part of the upcoming week. Looking at the tropics right now, we still have these areas that should be monitored. However, National Hurricane Center giving them a low chance, upper level wind shear, and lots of dust and dry air out there. So that's keeping the hurricane season at bay. Boating forecast across the northwest Bahamas. We have those winds east to southeast 10 knots or less seas 1 to 3. Low tide at 11:21 p.m. tonight. High tide at 5:03 a.m. tomorrow. The central and southeast Bahamas winds easterly 10 to 15 knots, gusty at times, seas 2 to 4, higher in those gusts. In your extended forecast, pretty cloudy through most of the week. Then we have some clearing skies by the end of the week, which should be some good news for all of those who want to get out, enjoy what's left of about half of the summer. Those highs will be climbing back into the low 90s, possibly even mid 90s by next weekend, so stay hydrated. Lows still hanging around the upper 70s, low 80s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun week, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Well, skincare is often seen as a luxury, especially in our region. But as Danielle Miller tells us in our final story tonight, one professional says it's time we shed that stigma and start treating skincare like a daily necessity.
I will admit we live in one of the best places in the world. Aside from our pristine beaches and the beauty of the people, we have the privilege of living in a tropical climate where the sun is out all year round. But living in this climate comes with a responsibility many of us overlook, and that is taking care of our skin.
So here, obviously, being exposed to the sun can pigmentate your skin, and also cause free radical damage, which can age you quicker.
That's Sarah Beek, the owner of Dermalogica Skincare Center and distributor for the brand across the Caribbean. She says, while the sun gives us much needed vitamin D, overexposure is real, especially in a tropical climate like ours.
Even more melanin-rich skin, they can pigmentate with the sun and go darker and have hyperpigmentation. We treat a lot of that, obviously. Yet lighter skins, they tend to obviously maybe see more fine lines and wrinkles from sun exposure.
So how do we fight back? Beek says it starts with building a basic, consistent skincare routine.
Definitely using an SPF on a daily basis. A cleanser, obviously pH-balanced cleanser to help to clean the skin. Definitely keeping your skin hydrated with like a hyaluronic serum. And obviously exfoliation is key as well, but finding the right one. So we have a variety from very mild that can be used daily to more stronger ones that are, once, twice a week, basically trying to treat a concern that you may be having.
And it's never too early to start.
I mean, as young as you can, really, because, it's important to be cleansing your face just like when you wash your body. So just children getting used to using a cleanser on their face, and then through your preteens and teen years.
Her final advice, see a professional. She says regular treatments can help you stay ahead of common issues and better understand what your skin needs. Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
Well, thanks, Danielle, and thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Berthany McDermott. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Make it a great week, everyone.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.